This episode of the Blerd Mob contains explicit language. While we want everyone to enjoy the show, sometimes we may say things that are not appropriate for all ages. So, in other words, Mom, Dad, Granny, we cussing. Discretion is advised.
King G, Grow Site, ENT. Rock with it, rock with it, rock with it, rock with it. Let me pop my shit. Let me pop my shit. Hands up.
What's up, y'all? And welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I'm your host, Phoop, joined today by my two co-hosts, Ryun and Ralph. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other streaming service, make sure you hit that follow button so you can get updates from the mob.
And to all of our viewers who are currently watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe and turn on your bell notifications for future updates.
Let's get into it. So what's new, my boys? It's been 2 weeks since we've been back in the studio, so what's been going on?
Well, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I've been avoiding watching it, but I finally started watching Euphoria. Binged watched season 1 in like 4 or 5 days, and I'm hooked on it.
Why were you avoiding
it?
Right.
I don't know. Like it was one of those things where everybody was talking about it, and I'm like, this hasn't caught my interest.
So
like,
are you that type that? I guess are you the type that when something like is trending that you don't want to watch it during the hype? That the hype kind of turns you off.
Yeah, because I've watched a couple of series when they were really hyped up, and then because my expectations were so high, I couldn't enjoy them fully because I was expecting to just get blown away. So like now after season 1 dropped, people are talking about season 2. I was like, okay, let me sit down and watch it, and I love it. I'm not gonna lie, binge watch all of season 1. I'm caught up on season 2, and Euphoria.
I
Euphoria is something else.
I think the only series that when the hype was going on that really like caught me to watch it was Arcane. Because when the hype was going around for Squid Games, because of all the hype, I had no interest to watch Squid Games. But when the hype was going around with Arcane, I was like, okay, let me sit down and give this a try. And I love Arcane.
What's funny, I didn't see all the Arcane hype. It's because of you guys when y'all was like, hey, we're watching this. I'm like, I'll try it out. I didn't even see all the hype. Now, Squid Games, I've yet to watch.
I don't think I'm going to watch
I don't really
Squid
care
Games.
about Squid Games much.
I
told you my recommendation. I told you my recommendation.
Yeah, he said if
Alice in Borderland is way better than Squid Games.
Yeah,
that's what I was getting at, and I was fumbling with the name. As y'all can see, I'm in a different location, so I just got my best friend from college just moved up here, so I had to move my setup to my room.
Mm-hmm.
So I recycled my fairy tale poster that just refused to stay on the wall and put it back here. So I'm a little crimped right now.
No, she did not.
I did not. I did not.
That poster was still on the ground when I went over her place.
The funniest thing about this setup is that I'm like in a corner of my room, so I just can't walk and sit down. Like I'm Tomb Raider rolling off of my bed, trying to get in this chair. Like I'm gonna have to make some shake. We here today, but another thing I want to
get them to reposition your bed and stuff.
We did.
Like fix your room around.
We did. We rearranged my room. Maybe we need to move a couple more stuff, but we rearranged my room just so I can get my shrine and my shelves and stuff in here. But the desk and the computer and the monitors, I'm gonna have to play with some more stuff. I did want to ask you guys. I did want to ask you guys a question though. Okay. So, I had a conversation with my cousin a couple days ago. We were talking about the Pokemon Arceus game just dropped. When was that? Friday, 28th.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I was talking about how, I didn't really want to get it, but then the conversation led into like, you know how we're adults now. So with being an adult and making our own money, we are literally at free reign to buy anything that we want. But with that comes restraint. So it's like, oh, I can't get this because I got to pay these bills or I got to do this. And it was like, it just feels, when sitting down and thinking about it, just feels so weird. Like, being an adult has been really weird, having this freedom, but at the same time having to show this self-control and this restraint. And then it went into, what are the things that you are not willing to compromise for when it comes to finances? Like, no matter what your finances are looking like, if this goes down, I have to get it. And her thing was trips. If anybody invited her on a trip, or if anybody had invited her out, she wasn't going to say no to that. Like, no matter how the finances were looking like, anything that went into her making memories with other people, she wasn't going to compromise on that.
I can understand that.
So I want to see, since we're all adults now and we're all the same age, and it's kind of like we're traveling on this journey together, what is something that, no matter what your finances are looking like, if this opportunity was presented your way, you're hands down, hell yeah, I'm in that shit.
I feel bad because I have a few, but number one is like, we got some trips planned, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely paying I'm paying a lot of attention to my budget, reworked it and everything. And like, one thing that makes me trip up every time, dog, is food. If somebody is like I'm sorry, like, y'all listen, bro. To I like, y'all know I'm trying to get in shape and all that good stuff, and I lost some weight and all that good stuff. But if somebody hit me with the, hey Ryan, you trying to grab lunch, you trying to go out to eat, I'm like, let me check my bank account. I was supposed to only spend like $500 this month on going out. You know what? I spent $550. I could spend 50 more. I just
see.
I just got to use less electricity. Yeah, it just happens, bro.
He unplugging. Hey,
my
he in
man
there
Julius
unplugging the
over
game.
here.
He said, so we went out to eat, so no Xbox.
Yeah, like I gotta monitor the aperture. Bro, it's always
Xbox.
food, bro. It's always food, bro. Like, I love shoes, love colognes, love video games, all the other stuff. But I will budget that out. I will plan months ahead of time so I can get the shoes I want, the next sneaker drop, or the video games I want. But when it comes to food, if it's out of budget and I want it, especially if I'm going out to eat, I'm getting it. I'm just getting it.
So what about you, Ralph?
I would probably have to agree with Ryan, actually, because I don't feel like cooking all the time. Living far from family and stuff, it's like you don't have the time, especially with everything that we've been doing, game development, podcasts, all the new things that we're trying to do as far as like side projects and stuff, and including work, and also trying to keep up with health and make sure you have yourself together. It's kind of like, where would I find the time to actually just sit down and cook? So I would say food is like number one. Yes, I'm gonna buy that meal. I'm going to buy that meal. So, and I would say, like, the number one place here that I eat at right now is Cane's.
He gonna buy that chicken. He gonna buy that chicken.
Don't let somebody ask you to go out to eat at that. That makes it even worse. Because now you're willing to spend a little bit more.
Now you gotta pay for the drink and the food. This ain't no meal. This ain't no value meal.
I already know I gotta get a margarita.
Now he buying alcohol, so you make it worse.
But look. When you out with friends, you need something to loosen you up. Right. I ain't gonna lie, that make a margarita go hard.
You need something to make you forget you spending the last $10.
There we go.
He said, they be like, Ryan, I know you say you're on a budget. You think you might get some water? Let me get a strawberry margarita, please.
I swear that's Ryan. And then he'll look at me and be like, you getting one?
Ryan's favorite go-to
if you getting it,
there you go.
If you get it, I'll get it. See, every time.
He's destructive. Ryan is very destructive for my spending habits. But mine was, for me, it's a range of topics. And I don't know who can relate to this, but anything that I want. It has to be something that I really, really, really want to make me say, fuck it, I'm finna spend this bread. Like some things, like with the Pokemon Arceus game, I love the Pokemon games, and this one seems to be a big hit. Like it's been getting good ratings, but I didn't really want the game, so I wasn't gonna go out of my way to buy it. But like I said last episode, whenever that Hogwarts Legacy drop,
It's
it's a
getting
go.
bought. It's getting
It's a
bought.
go.
I don't care what I gotta pay for that much.
It's a go
It's
because
getting bought.
that's what I'm saying, because that's something I really want, and that goes with games, shoes, clothes, even the trips. So even to touch on the trips, like we're planning this Orlando trip, and this is something that I really want to do. So I'm gonna put down on that. So it's really just, for me, I have to really want it. Like it has to be nagging at me, and it leads to, I know I be telling y'all sometimes that I make impulse buys, but the impulse buys just come from the fact that I really want this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and don't let it be on Amazon where they got that one click buy. Like you ain't gotta even think about it. I ain't even gotta think about it.
And Phoop, look, the impulse buys be the ones that make you feel the best.
That's what I'm saying. Like I have never regretted an impulse buy.
Never.
I know that it hurt my pocket, but look what I got. And it's like, so that's like anything that it has to really like nag at me for me to compromise and spend it. But certain things, if I want it, but it's kind of like, I could go without this thing. I'm cool. I'm chilling. But like, y'all talking about food and stuff, like, even if it was food, like if I really wanted this meal right now, we gonna cop up that dough. If it's this game I want right now, we gonna cop up that dough. If it's a trip, we gonna cough up that dough.
Right.
And it's worse on us because I'm pretty sure anybody who watches, they know we some nerds. Like if a collectible drop, like these Pokeballs that be coming out, or some of these mangas that's coming out with deluxe editions, y'all know I canceled my Pokemon Arceus pre-order because I wanted to get I got the deluxe editions for Berserk because they were on sale on Amazon.
So what happened when Ryun said he canceled it, one of our other friends had said, I don't think you should have canceled the pre-order. I was like, that man didn't want that game.
He didn't.
He didn't want that game.
It fell from priority 1 to like priority 5 the second I saw those mangas on sale.
You see what I'm saying?
It wasn't even priority 1.
And if you're a gamer, pre-orders are like months before you buy the game. So this man pre-ordered this game months before, canceled the jump about 2-3 days before the game actually came out to buy something else. That's ridiculous.
Berserk was on sale. Listen.
But that's
anybody in the
what
audience.
I'm saying.
Anybody in the audience, my 3 favorite manga: Akame ga Kill, Demon Slayer, Berserk. I had to get the deluxe editions.
But that's what I'm saying, though. That's the point I'm trying to make, is that he had planned months ahead to buy something, and just because something else came out, he compromised. Like he stopped. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, you see this freedom that we have as adults. I was curious. Because I feel like some people have different views on stuff they were compromised on when it comes to finances.
Right.
We on the same page. We on the same page.
We are. I really got to pick up on my shoe buying.
For the month of February,
yeah.
I want us to make a list of all the impulse buys we made.
My list gonna be small. I'm gonna have the smallest list. I'm gonna just say that now.
It's tax season though, so for the month of February, I want everybody to make a list of the impulse buys that they make.
But we smart though.
I'm gonna add rent.
Cause look.
That ain't no impulse buy.
Cause look, you just said something really, really important. There's a key word. It's tax season. These trips coming up, I'm gonna buy my plane tickets. I'm gonna be smart. But if I got like $500, left over, I'm getting on Amazon. Or I'm gonna get on Goat or StockX and buy the shoes I've been missing out on because I've been missing these drops.
We finna clear out that cart. Cart.
I'm going to my wish list. It's getting zeroed out.
But I want a list. I genuinely want a list of what all we bought. And speaking of February, so we are entering Black History Month. So
Yes.
The Blerd Mob is celebrating Black heroes for Black History Month. We're doing the Black Hero of the Week. Because we do bi-weekly episodes, we're going to do our first 2 heroes in this episode and then the last 2 in the next episode. So for week 1 was my pick. We all picked one. Put that out there. For week 1 was my pick, and I picked Storm. That's a bad lady. That's a bad lady. Y'all not fooling with her. But some interesting facts about Storm is that she is the first African American female superhero. So that's
I didn't know that.
it's monumental.
Didn't know that.
And I want to say, I was looking around and I really couldn't find it, but I want to say she might be the first female Black superhero, at least on the Marvel side, to hit the big screen. I couldn't find. I tried looking around and I couldn't find, like, they were putting out Black superheroes, but they weren't like Marvel or DC related. So I didn't want to be wrong. So I want to say like the first Black female Marvel character to be on the big screen, with the X-Men dropping in 2000. And I want to say,
yeah,
I think I want to say that's right. And I don't know if it was like this for y'all, but Storm was my first Black female superhero seen on the big screen, as well as my first introduction into Marvel was X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man, because remember they were all making movies in that same era.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And with Halle Berry taking them, I would say Halle Berry did a damn good job playing Storm. Like, you know how with people can't see like Wolverine being played by anybody else other than Hugh Jackman. I
still can't.
I don't see. I mean, I guess maybe once they put somebody in front of us, maybe my opinion might change. But when I think Storm, yes, we see comic book Storm, but back in my head, I'm thinking Halle Berry, because she did that. White Bob, the eyes, the dominance of it. I was like, this is it. It made me like X-Men. It, like, you guys know I'm a big DC fan, so most of the comics that I've read are DC. But Marvel side, like, it was the movies for me. And she take the cake. Other thing I want to put out here is that, like I said, she's a bad lady. So this is really like what took me over the edge for Storm. They did a Marvel versus DC comic event. This might have been like, they've done a couple in the past. I don't know which one this was, but she faced off against Wonder Woman. And y'all know Wonder Woman is a straight god out here.
Right.
She put down Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman is one of my favorite DC characters. And she put her down. And I was like, you know what? That's a bad lady. That's a bad lady. And I'm going to have to give it to her. Omega 11 Mutant.
I respect it.
If Rogue was not my favorite X-Man, second in line would probably be Storm.
Okay.
Powers and all. That's disgusting. So, second hero was Ralph. I'll let Ralph take it for his hero of the week.
So, my hero of the week was Static Shock, or Static, as you may know him. Growing up, I loved watching Static Shock. You know, back in like 2000 to like I think 2008 they spanned from, or 2006. I watched the entire series, top to bottom. I loved it. Every time I come home from school, 3 o'clock, running from the bus, that was the first thing I watched. That was on Warner Bros. Television show, I believe.
What was it? WB Kids?
WB TV?
WB
Yeah.
Kids, when it came on Saturday morning with like Yu-Gi-Oh and everything.
Yeah.
I would
but
always
they still
catch
had
it
the
every time
channel
I come
though.
home.
Yeah.
Like I loved his character, 14-year-old kid out of Dakota City. Like he was he was pretty much a good starter for me getting into the DC world, and I really just enjoyed watching him and kind of like that kid, like, oh, that kid inside of me of wanting to kind of be like him. You know, you have those moments where you try to act like certain heroes and things like that. Yeah, I was out here fighting pillows during that time too. So
Fighting pillows.
y'all ain't never used to do that?
No, I was
Y'all
not
ain't never used to
tearing.
act like pillows as enemies and fight them?
Okay, so
What
Ralph,
kind of childhood did y'all
I'm
have?
gonna try to relate to
No,
you. No, wait, Foop.
Come on now.
I'm gonna try to relate to you, Ralph.
Fighting pillows.
Me
Yes.
and my cousin and my little brother would go outside and get sticks and pretend like they were magic swords, and we'll have like
That's.
sword battles in the backyard. We did
Like
that.
you gotta be imaginative, and you gotta realize I was also a only child,
I feel
so
you.
I
I
didn't
was the
have
only child for a little bit, but I had action figures and bears and shit I was beating up. I wasn't
I did
beating
not.
up the thing. I had to lay my head at night. I wasn't doing that.
Not everybody had the luxury of having action figures. Portion, wow.
Right.
Whoa, so why y'all attacking me? I had because I was really into Power Rangers as a kid. Not to divert the conversation, but I was really into Power Rangers as a kid. So they would just buy me. We would go to Toys R Us and they would just buy me the Power Rangers action figures. And don't act
Jungle
like
Theory.
Mystic Force.
I'll give you that too.
But don't act like y'all want racking up toys from them Happy Meals, because everybody had a Happy Meal.
I collected Hot Wheels personally. I had a drawer full of them, so I was playing with those racetracks.
Everybody, so y'all wasn't out here just collecting. But I'm just
collected
saying.
Beyblades too.
So did y'all just not eat McDonald's and stuff when y'all was a kid?
No, they had. McDonald's had a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I'm just saying though, as a kid, when you go into the restaurants, every restaurant had a kids meal, and every kids meal came with a toy. It might have been a weird ass toy, but it came with a toy. Like Taco Bell had a kid meal, and they were just giving us these random ass robots, and I was like, "What is this?" But
I was a fat kid. I stopped getting Happy Meals at a real young age. I was getting the combos.
Play too much. And that's why he ain't got no action figures, because he was out here eating numbers. He was out here eating value meals when he was 7.
Look, bro, I wanted 10 nuggets from McDonald's. The Mighty Kids meal only had 6. It wasn't enough, bro. It wasn't enough.
But they give you more.
It wasn't enough, bro.
That's ridiculous. So
it wasn't enough, bro.
Be putting it out here at the Blerd Mob that Ryun didn't have a childhood because he wanted 10 nuggets from McDonald's.
I still had sticks. I had magic toys in the backyard.
So he resorted to playing with magic sticks in his backyard because he couldn't get no kids meal. But back to Static Shock. I want to say that was the era of when a lot of DC animation was like at its peak, animated shows, because you had Batman the animated series, Superman the animated series, Justice League, Teen Titans, Batman Beyond, all that was going down. And those are classics. So if you had to pick, I would say if you just had to pick any one of those just to sit down and watch, and you watch the rest, I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm not going to be mad. Now, I will say, the DC animation now we have not seen. They're supposed to be bringing back Static. So I'm excited to see that. Young Justice did try to bring back Static, but they did not do a good job. They kind of wasted his character. So I'm excited to see what they got coming up for my boy.
Right.
But it's nice.
That was actually... Oh, I'm going to let you finish.
No, you got it. What are you about to say?
Like, that was actually one of my facts that I figured out after, kind of looking through and researching more of the comic book side of Static. Him and Tim Drake were actually very close friends, or as you could say, really just brothers, as far as knowing each other. And that pretty much went in hand of trying to get them more into Justice League. So I found that very interesting, being that I really don't read comic books like that, but I probably should start, honestly.
I mean, so when I'm gonna get I'm gonna put it down like this. When I started getting into DC, it wasn't straight comic books. I was watching the shows with my dad. My dad read the comic books when he was younger. And when he started seeing everything getting animated, I felt like that was a bit of a nostalgia for him to see all the characters that he had been reading put on TV. So my first introduction to the Justice League, Static Shock, Batman, all of that was the shows.
Right.
So at this day and age, I don't think there's a problem with you being introduced to this franchise through the media, because look at how many Marvel fans there are that are Marvel fans because of the MCU and not because they were diehard Marvel comic book readers. Because I like Marvel, but my introduction, like I said, was the previous movies, and then when they got into the MCU and stuff, that's when I really got into it. So I don't think it's a
Well,
bad thing.
it's an interesting concept because it's kind of like the whole animated manga discussion, because manga essentially comes first and then it gets animated into anime. And I was never much of the comic book nerd, but kind of like Ralph is. When I got introduced to the animes and I started learning more of, like, the terminology being used, I was like, go back and read the manga, because some of this stuff isn't some of the animes may go off track from the story. The directors
Mm-hmm.
may add their own little twist to certain things, or a lot of anime has a lot of filler. And I'll go back and read the manga. I'm like, oh, this is pretty dope. And then another thing, I'm also more willing now as an adult to pay for manga because it supports the artist. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? That money
Right.
goes directly to them in comparison to a lot of people watch anime on bootleg. More people are buying Crunchyroll and Funimation, but it allows me to give back to the folks who bring me a lot of joy when I actually go back and buy the manga. I don't know if the same applies to comics, since a lot of them are American though.
It might. I don't buy a lot of comics, so I couldn't tell
Hmm.
you. Like, I may buy. For me, I was more of a graphic novel reader than more of like buying individual comic books.
Makes
I
sense.
may have bought like individual comic books here and there, but like that's a commitment. I'll put that out there. Buying comic book issues is a commitment because they release every week. And sometimes, depending on the story, the reason why I buy graphic novels is because they shove all of the issues into one, so you can just read them all
Right.
at the same time.
That's what I was about to ask. Do they ever do like a combination or a combination of chapters? So that's the graphic
Right.
novels
So
where they put them all
be
together.
the graphic novels.
Got it. Got
Okay.
it.
In certain instances, like if you ever go and read Injustice was split up into issues, but the graphic novel is just all of the issues combined in one.
Okay. Okay. I wonder if one comic will ever make me change my mind.
It
I don't know.
might.
Marvel got this Doomsday thing coming up where it's like the Avengers versus the Eternals versus the X-Men. I think I might be reading that.
Yeah, I saw that. That seems interesting.
Well,
So,
you want to know?
but
You want to
speaking
know
of
something? I know.
verses, what's up?
I about to say. I think I was gonna say what you were saying. I definitely started watching a lot of my DC stuff on HBO Max lately. I'm so glad they got all the different animated movies up there.
You about to get into the streaming service thing. I was gonna say, speaking of verses, I want to lay this out of the Microsoft v Sony controversy. Because that right now, the Doomsday thing is coming this summer, but this shit's going on right now. Microsoft versus Sony. Everybody already know Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, and Activision Blizzard
Hmm.
has some top IPs in the video game world: Call of Duty, Overwatch. I didn't know they had Crash Bandicoot, Spyro. I
and
did not know they
Spyro.
had Guitar Hero. So the big question is what's going to happen now that Microsoft owns all these IPs? Are they gonna make them strictly Microsoft exclusives, or are they gonna make a deal with Sony where these IPs will still release on both systems? And Ryan,
I
I'm gonna put this out here. Ryan has been arguing with everybody and they mammy on this right here. So let's put it out in the public. What you got, Ralph?
So I would say to get into it, I can see Microsoft after that contract is up over Call of Duty with Sony.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them trying to take control of Call of Duty titles. Reason why is because Sony has had Call of Duty for years, releasing, exclusively on PlayStation, and maybe it might just be time for a change. And that could be one of those things to where, okay, it's time to, see what we can do with Call of Duty titles and how can we make it more exclusive. And also, Microsoft has the Game Pass, which has, I, I believe, like 25 million subscribers right now. And imagine all of Call of Duty's titles back from the first Call of Duty to current Call of Duty games all being on Game Pass.
There we go.
Like that right there would be nice to have
So here's my counter question.
from a shooter's. Yeah.
Here's my counter question. Do they have to make it a Microsoft exclusive to put it on Game Pass?
No, I would say no. Let me finish. I would say no.
I got that.
Let me finish. I would say no because I feel like Microsoft has been trying to. I feel like has been trying to work with Sony to get like more games, kind of, I guess parallel in a sense to where, okay, we can still have both these games, and people are going to stay divided between which console is better, but that doesn't have to be the same with games, in my opinion.
I don't
The
even
console,
think it's a console war. I saw some on Twitter. They specifically said that this is not a war of consoles. Maybe it used to be back in the day. At this point, it's not a war on consoles. This is a war on content.
There we go. And let me put y'all on to something. Cause Ralph, you kind of on the same page. You think they're going to make it exclusives, right?
I would say yes.
So here's the thing. Now let me give y'all some history of Xbox, because a lot of people who are watching this may have not been an Xbox fanboy, quote unquote, for the long run. When Phil Spencer came in with the original Xbox, and you gotta look at Microsoft business plan, they always wanted to future proof, bro. They always wanted to future proof. The OG Xbox One, always plugged up, always connected to internet. Folks are like, rah 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 rah. Why we do that? Why we do that? Jump a few years ahead. That's pretty much all of our technology now. Always got to be plugged in. Always connect to the internet for you to even have access to the content. And then Microsoft, they introduced Game Pass. They say Game Pass, we want it to be the Netflix of gaming. It seems like everything's going digital. People don't even buy hard copies anymore. They said this years ago. Years ago. They said we want to create the Netflix of gaming. Jump a few years ahead. They said, and people was complaining. We saw the last gen. Xbox ain't got no exclusives. Why we even pay for Game Pass? You know what? We got you. All of our exclusives are on Game Pass. Guess what? All new exclusives, they will be released the same day of release day on Game Pass. They proved it with Halo Infinite. Also, going back a little bit, they created like 13, 15 new studios under Microsoft Studios, revamping old brands and all this new stuff, trying to get their exclusives. That was like 3 years ago. We're starting to see the fruits of their labor with Fable and a few others. In recent time, I think like last year, they bought ZeniMax, parent company to Bethesda. That's Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Fallout, Doom. And people is like, oh my gosh, they're buying one of the biggest RPG publishers out there. They're not gonna make them exclusive. No. After that acquisition was complete, oh, the future Elder Scrolls game gonna be an exclusive. In fact, Starfield, which y'all heard Bethesda talking about at E3 before the acquisition, that's an exclusive too. Microsoft wants to make their content, their subscription service, number one. They bought one of the biggest publishers next to EA and Ubisoft, Activision Blizzard. Call of Duty, Overwatch, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, World of Warcraft, and even Candy Crush. So now they got their toe in a mobile game. Huh?
Can't forget about Guitar Hero, how popular that used to be growing up.
So that's what got me. They said they were about to revamp Guitar Hero, and I was like, they're coming for blood.
Would love that.
They are coming for blood. They are coming for blood.
And here's the thing. all of the older games also are now going to be on Game Pass. It's not just the newer ones. All the older games are going to be on Game Pass, and now when they make new exclusive in those same IPs, they're going to be on
Mm-hmm.
Game Pass. Microsoft is basically saying right now, hey, you can own a PlayStation, but you're going to buy you a PC or Xbox. So for $5 to $7 a month, you can have a library of over 100 plus games exclusive to us. Yes,
Yep.
they're going to make Call of Duty an exclusive because the goal isn't just console sales; it's subscription sales.
Yep.
That's the only place to pay the new Call of Duties and the old ones. They're going to make all this stuff an exclusive once the acquisition is complete and these
Yeah.
contracts are fulfilled. The next Call of Duties, I think they already got the contracts for Sony. Microsoft could buy them out; they could not. But over time, yes, bro, these are all going to be exclusives because they're trying to get everybody's attention. They're
I
trying to
can
get
see that.
they're trying to get Game Pass subscriptions out there. And for
Mm-hmm.
gamers, I buy Xbox. Oh my gosh, I could buy PS5. You know these chip shortages. I don't even know what to buy. Well,
They
here's the
got
selling
them.
point. Here's the selling point. $500 and then $5 or $7. I forgot how much Game Pass costs. $5 or $7 a month. You got a library of over 100 plus games on Game Pass instantly. Call of Duty,
That's wild.
Halo, the two of the best shooters next to Battlefield. Overwatch, these are long-term games as a service games. Doom, Skyrim, some top RPGs. Come on now. And you think they're going to let PlayStation over time? Come on now.
I'll give it. All right. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. So
Mm.
I said no, but I didn't say no because I'm a diehard PlayStation fan, or like
Mm-hmm.
if a new console comes out, I'm gonna buy a PlayStation or whatever. I'm seeing it as to where they could. I can see it. I see it Ryan's way, where Microsoft just dominates the gaming industry, and at this point, like if you do not have an Xbox, it's you out of luck. Like what are you playing games on? Like if you don't have an
Or
Xbox, what are you
PC.
or PC?
Yeah.
Are you really involving yourself in the game industry? Because at one point in time, it was the same thing with Nintendo. If you didn't have this certain Nintendo console, like what were you doing? So I can see it from that end. The other end, the reason I'm saying no is that I can see Microsoft trying to tackle the gaming industry from both ends. Not only are they controlling the content in-house, they're controlling the content on other consoles. They're making Sony work for this shit. So yes, we can make this contract to where we'll release these, we'll give you these games. But it's the comeback. So maybe they upcharge PlayStation for these games. And then at the same time, the sales. Everybody who's buying all of these properties that Microsoft now owns on PlayStation is still going to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're tackling it on two fronts. It's the
True.
same thing. The analogy I want to put it to is the same thing with Universal and Disney. Universal has had their Marvel section and Islands of Adventure since I knew what Islands of Adventure was. Disney owns Marvel, but they're not getting rid of the rides and the content in the theme park because it's giving them money. Even though this is a different studio, a different theme park, sales, they're still, because when they go to the Marvel stuff and then they go buy Spider-Man content, or Iron Man stuff or whatever, when they watch these movies, the money is going to Disney. So
Mm-hmm.
I said no because this might be an opportunity for Microsoft to tackle the gaming industry in-house and outside of house. That's the only reason I said no. But
I can see that.
if they wanted to basically take over the whole thing and just make it Microsoft owns gaming, I can see that side too, but it depends on the vision. It depends on the vision. If they want to completely just kick Sony out of the game, I'm with Ryan. But if they want to take it on both fronts and get that coin, they gonna make some deals. They may not get all of the games, but they gonna get some hitters
Yeah.
to keep these PlayStation buyers interested.
See, and I get that perspective, but it's also like I also got to look at Microsoft as a tech company. Microsoft's Xbox division is solely that, a division. And when you look at a lot of tech companies, they do this thing where they create their own ecosystem and
Mm-hmm.
they want all of their consumers to be in their ecosystem. You see it with Apple. Apple
Yeah.
still got all their little they are not adopting, I think it's RSS feed or whatever in their messages. Hence why when an
Mhm.
Android user gets in a group message, y'all we get, oh, so and so liked insert full text message or love and excited and all that good stuff. And here's the thing, that could easily be fixed. Like Apple, like there's conversation about that now. That could easily be fixed to where an Android user or any other phone user, the two popular ones, Android and Apple, could
Right.
easily see that feed the proper way. However, they don't, because it is so much easier to say, stay in my ecosystem, come to
Mm-hmm.
my ecosystem that I created. Same with even the battle of smart devices with Google and Amazon. You get on Amazon, you can't buy a Google Nest Hub or none of that. And guess what Google did? They said, since y'all don't want to sell our product and shift up the algorithm to where they see both Google and Alexa, guess what? Alexa don't got access to YouTube because that belongs to Google. Come stay
Mm-hmm.
in our ecosystem. So when I look at Microsoft, when I look at Xbox v Sony, I mean Xbox v PlayStation, it's no longer Xbox v PlayStation. It's Microsoft the company versus Sony the company, because Microsoft pretty much dominates the PC world. Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of people got Macs and MacBook and everything. Apple has their brand and they're well known for it. But when it comes to PC gaming, it is still very much more common to game on Windows. Microsoft is basically saying, if you want the best gaming experience, you want to enjoy gaming to its fullest, Game Pass on either a Microsoft operated PC or Xbox console, which is branded by Microsoft. They're pretty, from my perspective, based off what they do and what tech companies do, and overall, they trying to dominate. They saying come to
Right.
Game Pass,
But
and
that's
if
what I'm
they don't,
saying. But that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. But they can still involve Sony, because what I was saying before is that yes, you can have this PlayStation. Like if you want a full gaming experience, either get you a PC or Xbox console, just like you said right there. If you want to keep this PlayStation, we might slide you a couple games, but if you want the real deal, come buy this Xbox.
Right.
So
that's
they'll still be getting minimum sales, but I think it's going to eventually turn into what you're saying, is that if they if they keep the contract with Sony but they limit the amount of exclusives that can go to PlayStation, you're going to eventually have PlayStation users that are going to start converting into
hmm
PC gamers and Xbox console owners, because now their gaming experience is limited. I can have this
exactly,
PS5, but
Right.
my experience is limited. So it can
especially
either they shut them out completely, or they can do the strangler method where they just strangle Sony out of the game.
Right.
and even short term right now, you gotta think about it. With these chip shortages, the demand for next gen consoles has nowhere near matched the supply. They've been out for like 2 years or whatever, and the
Mhm.
chip
Mhm.
shortages have affected everybody. There's a lot of people, especially the folks who can't afford to build a PC. It's not just you can do it for cheaper, but the folks who can't even afford to do that right now, they don't have a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. So in their minds, they're like, dang, they're still like, once these become more readily available, what do I buy? Even short term, Microsoft benefits from saying these are going to be exclusives, because right now, where not everybody who wants a new gen console can get it, not even because of finances, but because of supply versus demand.
Yeah.
That's a system seller.
I feel you that on that front too, because everybody does not have the new Xbox and everybody does not have the PS5. But I will tell you that majority of the population has a computer.
Right.
So, like you said, this
Gaming
X
PC
Pass
though,
that's might not be a gaming
I don't
PC,
know,
but
but they still have a computer.
they still have a computer. So let's talk financials. Buying, waiting, and buying to the next Xbox console comes out. Upgrading my current PC to having the specs where I can play the games.
that is true. That no, that does make a lot of sense, but we also got to take into consideration PC gaming is definitely getting there. it's definitely a lot more popular than it used to be. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it requires a lot more effort to say, let me get my GPU, my RAM, and all that, let alone start from scratch for those who don't already got a tower PC in their room or a gaming laptop, in comparison to $500 for a box, plug it up to my TV. I ain't got to worry about it for the next 5 to 7 years.
That's true.
And that's the whole reason consoles even still sell at this point. Otherwise, everybody will have a gaming PC.
That's true. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I just see it from both fronts. That
Mm-hmm.
say I blew my money to build this gaming PC, and because I blew my money building this gaming PC, I can't buy an Xbox. That doesn't completely mean I'm shit out of luck for gaming. I'm just playing it on PC, and I still have access to all of the content that I would have had access to if I had an Xbox.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then at the end, Xbox wins with that mindset because it's like, you know what? Let me just pay this 7, 10, ever many dollars and get that Game Pass.
I'm interested to see who's going. I'm interested to see. They said they're upholding the current contracts with Sony and Call of Duty until 2023, and then after
Mm-hmm.
that, I'm interested to see how that's gonna turn out.
You got to give it 5 years because now that they own them, they got to develop their new games, make new IPs, bring
Mm-hmm.
back the old ones. Acquisitions like this take at least a whole year to even finalize, transferring copyrights, trademarks, and stuff. Give
Mm-hmm.
it 5 years. 5 years. Let's see what Call of Duty looking like. Let's see what Overwatch and even the new IPs, not just the
Yeah,
old ones, the new ones that are soon to come out, looking like. And we're gonna see some.
we gonna see.
All I need Microsoft to do is just get rid of Bobby Kotick. That's it. He gotta
Yeah.
go. He need to go.
We don't need that toxicity in the
He gotta
industry.
go.
Yeah.
Anybody that was with him, he gotta go.
I think they said they about to clean house though after that because
Yeah,
everybody
that's
was
what they're
Yeah.
concerned
saying.
with the acquisition about the culture at Activision Blizzard, but they said they about to clean house, so we'll see.
They got to. Microsoft ain't trying to be known as the company that got that little nasty stuff going on.
They
They
Right.
cleaning that up. They
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 clean
cleaning that up.
they cleaning house. They cleaning house. So we
Mm-hmm.
did video games. I just had to get my spiel out because, like I said, y'all, Ryan has been arguing with folks, Mammy, up and down on this one.
Yeah.
But the
Bro.
fight, I would say, the fight for content doesn't stop at video games.
Gaming at all.
These streaming services and it's getting intense. And I just want to talk about the fact that yes, we got rid of cable, but the amount of money that we're paying for these streaming services are equaling the amount that we would have just paid for cable. But now it's getting to the point where the the rush isn't how many streaming services can I have, what streaming services are worth my money, and what's going to give me the biggest bang for my buck. So for 2022, if you had to pick only 2 streaming services just for 2022, not talking about the future. Think of all the content that's coming out for 2022. If you had to pick 2 streaming services that you had to pay for, that you for a fact know that you're going to keep paying for 2022, what are those 2 streaming services? Because this is going to put it to where what streaming services are going to give us the biggest bang for the buck for 2022.
Right now, I hate to say it, I don't pay for a single streaming service. I'm borrowing everybody.
Send them to jail.
Hey,
I'm borrowing everybody.
listen.
I don't care.
Whoever let him Ryan use his stuff, cut him off. Cut him off
I
right
Cut him
don't
now.
off right
care.
Cut him
now.
off
I
right
don't
now.
care.
Cut him off right
I get
now.
HBO.
Just
I
change
get
the
HBO
password.
Max because I pay for internet. I don't
Change the
care.
password on them.
But here's the funny thing. When cable cutting was a thing, I think the only streaming services that were really out was like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime Video. But then Prime Video and Netflix, I mean not Netflix, Prime Video and Hulu had those extensions where you could add HBO, Cinemax, and
Mm-hmm.
Stars.
Yep.
But right now, since the rise of HBO Max, the rise of anime, and then Crunchyroll and Funimation becoming more popular, Prime Video got their exclusive. Netflix has invested billions of dollars into their own in-house studios. Disney Plus came out, but then
Yep.
Disney acquired FX, and meaning they acquired Hulu and ESPN Plus, so that's kind of in their own group.
Yep.
Right.
I have to say, for me, if I could pick only two services, if someone said, Ryan, you forced to pay for services now, I would only pay for HBO Max and Funimation. And the reason why, not just because I love anime. Sony owns Funimation, who just acquired Crunchyroll a few months back, I think last year or the year before. They're
Yep.
going to merge those at some point. So the
Yep.
place for anime, the only place for anime is going to be whatever comes out of Funimation and Crunchyroll being
But
under
I guess
one
for
company.
2022, do we know that merger is going to happen 2022, or we don't know yet?
Yeah.
We don't know yet. So it's hard.
But
so
you're saying,
I
you're saying for 2022, because you know it's coming. If it
because
it does happen in 2022, you set is what you're saying.
because I know it's coming, I would only pay for HBO Max and Funimation.
Okay.
HBO Max got all the cartoons, bro. They got Codename Kids Next Door. They got Teen Titans, all the Cartoon Network stuff. They getting all the big blockbuster movies, bro. If it ain't Marvel, Disney Plus got the Marvel movies, but every other blockbuster movie, HBO Max.
But I wouldn't give Disney Plus that, because even though Disney Plus are getting the Marvel movie blockbusters, they are not dropping at the same time as they drop in theaters like HBO Max is doing. But I'm gonna say this about HBO Max: every Warner Brothers project is not dropping on HBO Max the same day. They did a couple of them. They did Mortal Kombat and they did The Matrix. The Batman is not dropping on HBO Max the same day it drops in theaters.
That's fair, but then also when it comes to the series, HBO Max, we'll just throw Game of Thrones to the side. We're not gonna act like that's one of the top. We're not gonna act like that's one of the top series in the past decade.
But let's talk about the series that you just brought in though. Euphoria.
Yeah.
Insecure, which just ended, but Euphoria is a banger. HBO Max got some heat, bro.
Episode 3 of Euphoria got the highest viewers of all time of all of the Euphoria episodes. Either it's all of the Euphoria episodes or just ranking it for season 2. It got, I want to say the number was 3.6 million viewers on episode 3.
Yikes.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like Netflix, it used to be the king, bro. It used to be the king,
Let me look that up before I be.
But Netflix, Netflix has lost some of their anime due to Funimation, and Netflix has also lost all of their Marvel due to Disney owning Marvel and creating their Disney Plus platform. So Netflix, the only reason to watch Netflix is for what they create, and they created some bangers. Netflix originals, Arcane, which we all like.
Yeah, it was
they had Bird Box and a few others. They even got Seven Deadly Sins, even though that ended.
Bird Box was a long time ago.
I'm just trying to think of a few. But like for me, I don't know about y'all. For me, HBO Max, Funimation. If I had to be forced to buy 2 streaming services, those 2, bro.
All right. What about you, Ralph?
This is tough because I watch so many. Oh man, I would have to say I gotta keep Hulu for the animes and Demon Slayer. I have to.
Hulu gets
and also My Hero
right.
Academia. I gotta keep it. I have to keep.
Hulu gets a lot of Funimation's anime, so I respect.
Yes. And plus, if you have the premium subscription, you can still go and watch movies and stuff on there too.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like a win-win at that point. I get my anime in, I get normal movies, I get to go back and watch older movies that I haven't really watched in so long, but Hulu has to be there.
Okay.
My second. Oh man. I want to say I'm gonna just say HBO Max. I will say honorable mention to Netflix because I watch a lot of their originals. Queen's Gambit. I watched The Serpent, except that's more of a documentary. I've watched How to Get Away with Murder. Except the thing is with that, they removed How to Get Away with Murder, I believe, from Netflix to Hulu, if I recall, or was it from Hulu to Netflix?
But isn't How to Get Away with Murder, wasn't that coming on Fox or ABC? What channel
It
was
was
that
coming on
coming on?
ABC.
So Disney owns
Disney
ABC.
owns that.
So they had to
So
snatch that.
yeah, they snatched that from Netflix and gave it to Hulu. So it's Netflix would be on there if they would have kept those kind of shows. Like How to Get Away with Murder was a banger. That was
A lot of people
it.
did love it.
But I would say this is that even though Netflix did have How to Get Away with Murder, they were uploading by season and not
True.
by episode.
And you want to know something, Ralph? The only reason my top 2 ain't the same as you is solely because I'm worried, or not necessarily worried. I'm trying to future proof in terms of what will Funimation do, well the Sony parent company do now that they're on Crunchyroll, because
Because then they might start snatching them animes off Hulu. They might.
Because Hulu get all the Funimation stuff right now. In fact, like it gets Attack on Titan, it gets a few of them, but I've noticed Hulu got some expiration dates for some of their anime. They're starting to pop up on the corner for some reason. It's expiring in 11 days. I'm like, why y'all getting rid of Fairy Tail?
I have seen
I was like,
that.
why y'all getting rid of
Look, they
Fairy
purging.
Tail?
So you remember? So you remember how Disney started purging their shows and movies and stuff off Netflix? Is little shit like that. Weird little tidbits. Y'all gonna get on Hulu one day and it's not gonna be nothing on there.
No anime.
It's not gonna be nothing on there.
That's why I couldn't say Hulu, bro, because I'm like, I gotta have my anime, and if it becomes this little parent company, Funimation acquisition only has it's only place for anime, I gotta pay for it.
My only hope is that they hold off taking off anime. If we were talking about this year and I only have to watch 2 services, I would pray to God that Funimation does not do it
I
right
got
now.
something. Look, but let me say this. I don't know when it's gonna come into fruition. A couple months ago, Disney had put out a trailer for an anime style. Maybe it might have been an anime that they were playing around with, that they were gonna put out. If Disney is about to step into anime, I can see it as they're preparing. They might be future-proofing. They might be future-proofing that they want to keep that audience because they're getting viewers from Hulu for people who are going to watch anime. If this merger between Funimation and Crunchyroll is putting that at risk, that they may start snatching those animes off the streaming service. One, does Disney care about that audience? And if they do, is this their plan to keep that audience by putting out their own anime?
Right. And here's the scary thing about it, because when it comes to these companies, like the individual manga artists who create the manga, they can choose which publisher brings their anime to life. Now, seems like most of Viz animes, that's the shonens and all of them, they tend to be on Crunchyroll. Then Funimation and the Aniplex animes, they tend to be on Funimation, and some of Aniplex produced animes can be on Azor. But Netflix produced Seven Deadly Sins. And I think they produced a couple of other animes. If Disney Plus looks at some of these manga bangers that people don't know about that ain't been produced yet, they could compete. But I'm not gonna lie, Funimation and Crunchyroll got a lot of the contracts already established. A lot of them.
They do, but at the same time, it's only if they care about that audience.
Right.
Because Disney, I fuck with Disney Plus because of all of the Marvel content they've been putting out, especially, and also the nostalgia of going back and watching all of the older shows that I watched as a kid on Disney Channel. And they're putting out new content outside of the Marvel stuff on Disney Plus. So they're getting a heavy audience anyway, of all ages.
So is Disney Plus in your top 2?
So my top 2 is HBO Max.
Okay.
It is my same reason as Ryan. Hella nostalgia with the Cartoon Network overload. Ed and Eddie, Kid Next Door, Justice League Unlimited, Teen
DC
Titans,
everything.
basically, Gumball. I saw Chowder on there. Like the nostalgia, the Cartoon Network overhaul got
Rick
me.
and Morty.
Rick and
Regular
Morty.
show.
That's what I'm saying. And on top of that, the movies. I just watched Transformers last night on HBO Max. You got Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. They got all of the Matrix on there. The Hobbit. They have come on now. Come on.
Too much fire. Too much fire.
And they still have series. Euphoria.
Yeah.
Insecure. Peacemaker. Come on.
Too much fire.
So I have to keep going. And with the 2022 trailer, with more stuff coming, and with them coming out with the Game of Thrones spinoff, if you did not have HBO Max now,
you need to get it.
It's about to go up. When that House of the Dragon series drops, the price just went up for HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm putting it out there. They caught on. HBO Max came out at a good time. Going back to the blockbusters, dropping in theaters on the HBO Max the same day. We talked about this last episode. People with this whole pandemic situation not wanting to go out. They took that to their advantage.
All your Cinemark AMC movie dates, they turn into HBO Max dates now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. At this point in the movies, you would get a few blockbusters in the movie theater, and the rest of them are like these sideline movies. Like I could go see it, but I might just wait for it to come out on DVD. That's the type of movies that I'm seeing dropping in theaters. But you have your single silver linings every now and then, like Spider-Man was a silver lining. Right. I had not been back to the movies. Well, I'ma take that back because Marvel had been dropping back-to-back movies in 2021. But say had they were doing their original schedule drop, I may have went back to the movies maybe in the summer and stay my ass at home until December when Spider-Man dropped.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it to them. I'm gonna give them to them at HBO. I'm gonna give it to them. They got me. They started off strong. Not only Euphoria, if you're a DC fan. I watched a couple episodes of Peacemaker. I'm not that impressed with it, but I'm seeing the hype on Twitter that a lot of people like it. They're tackling on two fronts now.
Mm-hmm.
And so my second one, and this is might be debatable. Here you go.
Oh God.
Do I know you well enough?
I put down Disney Plus. The only reason why I put down Disney Plus. I know y'all looking at me at Phoop put down Disney Plus because of the Marvel content. That's a part of it. But let's talk about the other shit that's going down on Disney Plus. They're rebooting the Proud Family. Let's talk about it.
Saw that. I saw that.
Let's talk about it.
I saw that.
Proud Family reboot. Then I will say that the movies that they have other movies coming out as well on Disney Plus. I'm gonna give it to them with the Marvel shows, but I think what I sleep on with Disney Plus is that they continuously still release stuff outside of Marvel. Yes, Marvel is what gets me to go on the site and watch stuff, but they do have some other stuff coming out. And also, same thing they get me with is the nostalgia.
Right.
Going back and be able to watch the old stuff. Now, honorable mention, I'm going to go with Ralph with Hulu. When I do watch Hulu, I do watch anime.
No, his honorable mention was Netflix, but Hulu was his other two.
No. What I was saying was that my honorable mention is one of Ralph's choices.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should have said that. One of my honorable mention is one of Ralph's choices, which was Hulu's, because when I do get on Hulu, I watch anime. So I don't pay for Funimation, so I won't go out and say Funimation because I pay for Crunchyroll right now. But if I was smart about the shit, I should just go buy Funimation. But I'm gonna say HBO Max and Disney Plus. you know what? I'm gonna also say Disney Plus because technically Hulu is a part of that. I'm gonna throw that argument in there. That
in the
Hulu is
umbrella,
because you
that
have those
Hulu,
combinations.
because in actuality, Hulu is a part of Disney Plus. So the anime I'm
Disney gets some
watching.
money.
Let's talk about what just dropped. Abbott Elementary. That's a big hit across the Black community right now. It's like a refreshing type show to see something different on it. So even if I did say those are my two. Disney Plus definitely for the Marvel content because I know they coming.
Yeah,
and you made a great point.
Moon Knight finna drop in March. Miss Marvel's gonna drop in the summer. We still got She-Hulk, Armor Wars. They're filming Secret Invasion right now. They coming. They are coming, and I don't even know if it was truly even fair to put Disney Plus in this running. Honestly, because it's at this point, does Disney have to compete for people to get the service?
You wanna know what's funny, Foop? I'm gonna drop a theory. I feel like similar to gaming, the streaming wars are going to be a battle of the bundles. Because if you look at Disney,
I'll
the
give you that.
company, it's Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and
And
Hulu.
Hulu.
That's basically Disney, Marvel, Sports, and Fox. That's essentially what comes in that bundle.
They got National Geographic too. I don't know how they got that, but they got it.
That's what I'm saying.
Star Wars. Don't forget Star Wars.
Lucasfilm Star Wars.
Lucasfilms, Marvel Studios. Come on.
So battle of the bundles. Because they marketed that at first. When Disney Plus first dropped, it was marketed as Get It with Hulu and ESPN Plus. I feel like they need to get more heavy on that. Because with the Funimation acquisition of Crunchyroll, with the Sony acquisition of Crunchyroll, now the one place for anime, they need to get them Funimation and Crunchyroll bundles need to start dropping. HBO Max, it's not necessarily a bundle. However, HBO, major blockbuster films and movies, plus cartoons, plus DC. That's their
But they got Warner
point.
Brothers, so HBO.
Warner, put that all under one thing. Warner Brothers, battle of the bundles. Netflix, they bundles are kind of dropping.
I think what was going for Netflix at first, but Dan put them at a disadvantage. The thing that was really got people into watching Netflix is that they were getting all of these shows from these different networks. Like there was a time where the CW shows were dropping on Netflix. Like if you didn't watch the full season of Arrow, you knew it was going to drop on Netflix and you could watch it. What happened is that these individual networks start bundling together, or they got their own streaming service and they started pulling shit off. So now Netflix started losing content, and that's when they started making originals. Because what is going to keep your audience here? Because they weren't making originals at first. Netflix was straight the place where you would go to watch shows that you miss on certain networks, or if you wanted to discover a new show, or if you wanted to watch a movie, you could stream it on Netflix, and they was using that to their advantage. All these other streaming services start coming out, they started losing content. What was going to make their audience stay?
There we go.
Now Netflix came out with some heavy hitters in 2021, despite the fact that Squid Games, I haven't watched it. Ralph said it doesn't deserve the hype, but a lot of people watched it. They got approved for season 2. It's on the way. Let's touch back on Arcane. It's coming. They're saying season 2 is supposed to be coming 2023.
But what's gonna happen?
They just started filming The Witcher season 3. It's in production. It's starting to get in production.
What's finna happen is a lot of these services are finna be tiered off in people's mind. Like, what's the one that's worth me paying for myself, and which one am I finna share with all of my family and friends? And we
that's
finna
what
be
I'm getting
5
at.
households on one service.
Because
and Netflix was already that. If we're being honest, it was already.
That's what I'm getting at. Because once upon a time,
to the point. Netflix is tier 2, tier 3 is secondary.
That's what I'm saying. Because it was at a point in time where when it came down to the streaming services that you needed to have, everybody was getting Netflix. And then it got to a point in time that everybody had every streaming service. Now it's not about, do you have all these streaming services? Which of these streaming services is giving me the biggest bang for my buck? And it's
There we
what
go.
Ryan said, is these bundles. Disney Plus, if you don't get the highest grade of it, you are paying $13 a month for Disney Plus all the content that comes in there, ESPN Plus and Hulu plus all of the
There we
content
go.
that goes into Hulu for $13 a month. Some people may buy that shit and it's a wrap. They not buying nothing else.
They don't need anything else.
They don't need nothing else. Or you got people who God fucking damn it. The anime. I think anime is in its own realm because if you don't have Hulu, you have to have you some on the side for the anime. So it's either gonna be
Netflix showing
Crunchyroll
expiration
or it's gonna
dates
be
for some of theirs too.
It's either gonna be Crunchyroll or it's gonna be Funimation. But I think HBO Max. So HBO Max, if you did not know, is a merger between HBO Max and Cinemax. So some of that stuff, some of the content on there came from Cinemax. And before, when they were separate, that's when we going into the Hulu with those extensions. You could either get HBO extension, Cinemax extension, or you could get both.
And Stars. And Stars.
Yeah.
And Stars.
Yeah.
Come on now. It's not about how many streaming services you have. It's what streaming services is giving you the most benefit. Like, I'm not finna pay for... I don't pay for Netflix, but let's say I was paying for Netflix. I barely watch Netflix. I'm not paying for that shit. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
That's what's finna happen. It's finna be like, say for like the three of us, it's finna be, all right, man, I gotta get my own HBO Max. I ain't finna have you running up my account in terms of watching the series that I want to see. But it's finna be, hey, y'all wanna go in on a Netflix? Y'all wanna go in on that? Ain't nobody trying to pay full price for that. Y'all trying to split
that's come on.
It's happening. Look. And we looking at these movies dropping out. Another thing I wanted to ask y'all about, how y'all feel about because if y'all look in our comments on Instagram when we was making our post, a lot of folks asked about the Batman. And I think
one person asked about the Batman. I want to clear the air. 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 I want to clear the air because a lot of people made some comments, but one person made a comment about Batman, and it touched me a little bit. I want to clear the air. Batman is not on my list because I have a gripe with DC. The reboots. Why do we keep rebooting Batman and Superman? But let me put out some facts because I am looking forward to the movie. I want to make that known that I did not put it on my list because I'm not excited to see this movie. I am. My gripe is a Batman reboot and what direction they're going into with this movie. So, let's put out the facts. 1, this movie is not connected to the DCEU. That could be a good thing, and that could be a bad thing. I honestly don't know, because why are you guys building this universe? And that goes into that other rumor about they're about to make Batgirl the next Batman, but garbage. Come on. It's not connected to the DCEU, and I just don't understand where they're trying to go with the direction. But sure, but I think making this movie not a part of the DCEU, I think is a good choice because it allows them to play with a bit more elements that they can't play with into the DCU. Because the DCU, when you watch it, it tries to make you feel like you're watching the MCU.
Yeah.
They're trying to get that playfulness type expanded story or whatever. But let's talk about the Joker movie, which is not connected to the DCEU, and let's talk about
I'm so excited.
And let's talk about how personal and how intense that movie was for it to not to be connected to the DCEU. So that was the goal for this Batman movie, and it not being connected so it can be more personable so they can tell a better story. So I would give it to them on that. But I want to see the direction that they're going into because they're bringing in Catwoman, they're bringing in the Riddler. We have not seen the Riddler in a Batman movie since I want to say
the Batman that came before the Dark
1990s. which was the 90s. We haven't seen the Riddler since then. So that's interesting what take they're going to take on that. What kind of another part that's selling me on this movie, the director, Matt Reeves, says that this is not a Batman origin story. And that's it's selling me. I won't say I'm sold until I see the movie, but it's selling me because
I would say it has me interested.
Every Batman movie that we've got, even when they rebooted with Ben Affleck, the first part of Batman v Superman was an origin story. How many times do we have to watch Batman's parents die? We know what's up.
We know his parents got shot.
Why can't we jump into the story? Why do we have to see the origin? I think in a comparison to the MCU is what I liked about when they came out with Spider-Man Homecoming. It was already established that Uncle Ben was gone and he was staying with Aunt May. We didn't have to watch Uncle Ben die. We didn't have to have like this whole flashback type moment with Peter and Uncle Ben. It was just the movie starting, Uncle Ben is dead, he's Spider-Man living with Aunt May.
Exactly.
If Matt Reeves saying that this is not an origin story because we're gonna go jump straight into that, I'm with it. Other thing that I wanted to say, I guess, here's my question. This is my question. The movie, they said, is supposed to be showing a more violent Batman because it's supposed to be based off of the Batman Year One comic. The Batman Year One comic is where Batman was first starting out.
But it's PG-13.
That's the dilemma.
He beat me to the punch. But this is my question. This is my question. So, I said that, right? I said that. When I saw the news that the movie had got the rating, a PG-13 rating, I said, how the hell are you guys making a more violent Batman movie and rating it PG-13? But let's talk about The Dark Knight, which is also PG-13. But let's think about everything that went into that movie. Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker, the suspense from that movie, the intensity from that movie, that was PG-13.
But
that was PG-13. But that's my argument.
But the good rated R hero movies, Phoop, the Logan, the Deadpool, a rated R Batman would be fire.
But
yeah,
I feel you on that. But let's talk about two things. One, the audience they're trying to sell it to. They are revamping Batman for another time. They need people to come see it. Yeah. They need people to be drawn to this Batman for whatever they about to do with him in the future. They have to get people to come out and see him. So, business-wise, throw a PG-13 rating on this so people can bring their kids to come see Batman. Second thing, because of what happened in The Dark Knight, which was PG-13, they could bring that same intensity into this movie. And this PG-13 Batman movie could be teetering on the edge of rated R, but it just barely made it to where it could stay PG-13.
I feel that.
So if this is the intensity, because it sounds like they're exploring a more personal Bruce Wayne story. If you guys seen the trailer, it's very dark and intense as exploring who Bruce Wayne is as a person and who he is as Batman. They're bringing in Selena Kyle, the Riddler, which is a heavy hitter. But I think they could still execute. Even though it's PG-13, I think they could still execute just because of what they did with The Dark Knight.
It's like, it's funny because I'm going to watch it regardless. It's just, if anything about that movie disappointed me, I wasn't disappointed about Robert Pattinson becoming Batman.
He gonna keep calling this man Edward.
I like Twilight. But the one thing but when I saw that, I don't know, it's not like I was expecting it to be rated R, but I was like, after so many good rated R hero movies came out, I was like, Batman would have been the perfect, like,
But they have to
risk-taking
get people to
movie.
come see it. That's my whole thing.
Yeah.
They could
Yeah.
have
They
easily.
need an
I think
audience.
they need an audience. I'm gonna say this. I've read a lot of Batman comics, and a lot of Batman storylines are really dark. If you look at some of the animated Batman movies, some of them have rated R ratings because of the storyline. But, like Ralph said, they have to bring in an audience. They could easily make a rated R Batman movie, but they have to bring in people. And the other thing is that, like I said before, they're rebooting Batman. So they have to they have to bring the audience to this new Batman. If they made this movie rated R, there's only a subset of their audience that would be able to go see this movie until it drops on streaming.
I feel
Right.
that. Well,
So I just wanted to clear the air that it's not that I'm going to see this movie. I'm going to see this movie, but I did not put it in my top because I am concerned about where they're going with another Batman reboot. DC
Yeah.
does have some other movies lined up. Batgirl has been in production. Blue Beetle. There's the Flash movie is coming. Black Adam, another Aquaman movie. So they have stuff coming up, but I wish they would stop hanging on to rebooting Batman and Superman to make the universe, because they have
I
so
feel
many
that.
other characters that they could latch on to. And they also, I think the other thing that is pulling me to this Batman movie is that I think is because they chose a different villain. In Christian Nolan's Batman trilogy, I think they did a good job bringing in Ra's al Ghul in the first movie because we hadn't seen him in the live action movies. They did a good job with the Joker, even though we've seen, we saw in the 90s, we did see the Joker. Though we do see the Joker, I think they executed that very well.
And then
And then they
amazing
brought in
job.
Bane. They brought in Bane, a character that we haven't seen on the big screen. Or maybe we have. It was one of those movies they brought in a lot of people. But anyway, they did a good job. I would say they did a good job with alternating the villains.
Right.
And
Well,
then, so bringing in the Riddler as another Batman villain, I think they have a compelling story to tell.
right.
Because if they had brought in, this is what it would have turned me off. I'm gonna put this out here. I am not, and still am not, a big fan of Ben Affleck's Batman. And if they would have continued with the original plan to make Ben Affleck a solo Batman movie and brought Jared Leto's Joker to be the adversary, I definitely would have not put that shit on my list.
Right.
I can see that, yeah.
So
but I guess I could talk about Batman. We could keep talking about that, but I do got a question, because one of the movies that didn't pop up in like our expectations, but someone asked me about it, was the Wakanda Forever movie. And my
Wakanda
whole
Forever
thing,
was my honorable mention.
yeah, but it's like the thing about that honorable mention is I am kind of not confident in whether or not this movie will be good. As much as I love Black Panther 1, even though they talked to the fans about not recasting T'Challa due to the early death of I can't what's
Chadwick
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 Boseman,
Boseman.
may rest in peace.
Yeah.
I have not heard anything positive about this
Okay,
movie yet. And I'm wondering, should we have any expectations for this movie? Because all we're hearing about is the actress is getting sick and blah blah blah. No
let
ads,
me
no
put it
nothing.
like
And when's it
this.
coming out?
So let me put it like this. What you got, Ralph? I'm gonna let you talk.
I was gonna go on the point of Ryan saying that people were getting sick. At first, we were told that the movie was getting halted because of vaccination issues.
It wasn't vaccination issues, so they went on a 5-month hiatus because the actress Letitia Wright, who played Shuri, got injured in early August.
Right.
They went on a 5-month hiatus. The vaccination stuff did come up, but that was not the reason why they stopped production. It was because she was injured. So January, she came back. They started production again. They're on hiatus. They're on delay. I'm gonna say they stopped production again because they had a COVID outbreak.
Right.
So it's a gap. I'm concerned because of the production gap. But the movie is not supposed to drop into November. So we do got 10 months. They got 10 months to make something shape.
Right.
But my concern is the anticipation surrounding the movie. I think people are going to go see the movie regardless because it's Black Panther. Think about how many people came out to see Black Panther 1. A lot of those people had not seen any of the previous MCU movies before that, because it was Black Panther, because it was a solo black superhero film other than Blade that was dropping, and because he was part of the MCU that brought people out. So I think people are going to see it regardless because of name alone. My concern is that in this age of social media, let's talk about it. Let's talk about all of the rumors that we saw before Spider-Man dropped on social media. Let's talk about all the rumors that are circulating Multiverse of Madness. They've been dropping. We've been hearing stuff about I saw something today on Twitter about Spider-Man 4.
Already?
Yes, come on. And they're coming out with stuff about Thor, the next Thor movie. James Gunn is releasing information about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 that's not supposed to drop until 2023. My concern is, I know part of it is the hiatus, that we have not been seeing a lot of things on social media surrounding Black Panther.
Right.
But when are we going to start seeing stuff? And when we do start seeing stuff, is the anticipation going to increase for this movie? Because right now, I can't tell you. I don't know if the rate, because at first, when they were filming, we were hearing stuff about Riri Williams, which is Ironheart, was coming into the mix. She's on the cast list. The rumor was circulating about Storm being in the movie. So we were getting that at a time. I think the hiatus screwed it up, that we stopped hearing stuff. But when they do pick up production, is it still going to be radio silence? Are we going to start hearing stuff about the movie? And when we do start hearing stuff about the movie, is it going to be to the level to where we think Wakanda Forever is going to be good? I think Chadwick Boseman took a heavy hit on this movie. Him passing away took a heavy hit on this movie. And I think a lot of people were already concerned of what they would go with the story.
Right.
But them being on hiatus, them putting the production out, the movie not dropping until November, with this COVID outbreak, we don't know when they're going to come back. We also don't know, I don't know at least, how much of the film they have already shot. What do they have left to shoot? We haven't seen any trailers. Well, I wouldn't expect them to put out. That's why I'm saying, like, it doesn't drop until November.
At all.
But I would at least think like a concept poster would come out, because they released a concept poster for Thor 4. We haven't even got that. Like, small stuff that we could be seeing on social media. We're not seeing that. So, is the anticipation going to pick up once they actually start putting that stuff out? When? And then the question is when? Because if they keep taking heavy hits like this, how is that movie going to turn out?
Mm-hmm.
And that's my worry, bro, because I love Black Panther and I want Wakanda Forever to be great, but kind of like you said regarding the social media thing, in this day and age, our attention spans are short. Like, the second you're on the internet, you can be on there for as long as you can or disappear within 2 weeks. And the thing is, the only things we've seen about Wakanda Forever is honestly predominantly negative
The production
stuff.
The production stuff.
Like,
a lot of negative things.
It's been mostly issues. So I'm saying, will this movie be able to get the quality it deserves? Like, it's Marvel, they always maintain a certain level, but I'm getting a lot of doubt based off how they're like discussing it versus reassurance that this is going to be a quality movie. You know what I'm saying? I need I'm like that girlfriend. You done took me out on a date, but at the end of the night, do you still love me? I need them to do that with Wakanda Forever. I need some reassurance. let me know that you still love me, even though you done took me out to eat. Please tell me that.
You know what?
I
I feel him on that.
understand.
Even though Black Panther is getting the funniest thing, and this is what Ryan's talking about with the bad press. When they announced that Black Panther 2 had went back on delayed filming because of the COVID outbreak, they put Letitia Wright's picture on the graphic. And it's
They
like,
did.
is she the one who caused the outbreak, or y'all just being messy?
Right. Right.
But
Right.
I'm with Ryan though. So with all of the delays and all of the production, like it's been business stuff. Like Winston Duke, I can't remember who he played. His character name in Black Panther just got a pay jump because apparently he's taking a more predominant role in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been hearing a lot of business background production stuff. Where is the reassurance that this movie is going to deliver?
Exactly.
And within the day and age, and I can see it two ways. That one, y'all don't have to tell us nothing about this movie. It could be a just y'all just wait and see type thing. And if it is, you know what, I'ma shut up. But in the day of social media, when you can scroll for 3 minutes and see the next big thing that's hitting, that's trending, we're not seeing, that's the only thing that we're seeing about Wakanda Forever. So I'm concerned about the movie, but I'm not too concerned because we got 10 months left. I would say let's revisit the conversation in May and see what they talking about.
All right.
Now, if it gets to May, because that May is when Multiverse of Madness drops. That's going to be the first MCU movie of 2022. If we get to Multiverse of Madness and we still haven't heard anything about Wakanda Forever with 6 months left, we might have a problem.
I'm gonna be worried. I'm gonna be so worried.
We might have a problem.
We gonna write that down. Someone mark this episode right now. We gonna remember this. Remember this. Cause y'all can't do my Black Panther like that.
I don't see them making a bad movie because they haven't made bad movies. I think the lowest rating Marvel movie from Phase 4 that I've given is The Eternals. The Eternals wasn't a bad movie, but it also just didn't take me over the top.
It wasn't a great movie.
Right. So I don't see them making a bad movie. But is it going to meet the expectations of Black Panther 1?
Okay.
So
we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. But we have reached our time limit, guys. So great conversation. Glad to have all three of us back for another episode of 2022. Thank you to everybody who has been listening to us since 2021 and has continued joining our journey in 2022. We look forward to seeing you at the next episode and all the episodes to come. And with that being said, Ralph, lead us out.
All right. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at the Blerd Mob Pod. Pod. Make sure you can find us on Facebook and Twitter at the Blerd Mob. And this is the Blerd Mob signing out. Peace.
All right, y'all.
Hands up. If you loving where you at, stand 10 toes down. Shawty ain't no looking mad. You can let them haters hate when they asking why I'm smiling.